Hey everybody, Gabe Jenkins back with you. My webcam seems to be gone, but I'm trying to see if this makes the resolution a little bit better when you're trying to watch what I'm doing on the screen here. So we are sitting here looking at AutoCAD drawing number 4, and before we start, I want to just kind of like look at it for a second with you, so you can see the same things that I see when I'm looking at it, so that you can understand when you're doing something in a CAD software program, whether it's AutoCAD or SolidWorks or anything else. It's really helpful to just take a moment to think about what elements in that picture you see, what could be some of the tools that you use in order to construct it, and so you can begin to strategize so that it's not a super hard way you're doing it, but maybe you're constructing it in the most logical, easy way. Okay, so here's what I'm noticing. First off, I notice that it is the same on the left and on the right. It's symmetric. It's bilaterally symmetric. It means both sides are symmetric with each other. And so that's going to be helpful because we're going to use a new tool today called the mirror tool. And the mirror tool helps us to take whatever element we want from one side and then reflect it back over a midpoint line or any other thing we want to reflect it over. So for instance, if I had a line that went all the way down the middle and I wanted to just reflect something from here over to there, the mirror tool lets us do that. Second, I'm noticing that that there's a couple let's see, there's a bunch of circles here. If that's the center point, because that crosshairs is the center point symbol, I have 1, 2, 3, and kind of 4 circles all around that center point. Now, I know we're just getting used to looking at dimensions, and so there's a lot of dimensions on this page, but one of the dimensions it doesn't tell us is where exactly that center point is. I know it's in the middle, right? But it doesn't say how high up from the bottom or anything else it is. What it does tell me is that from the very top of this shape to the very bottom of the shape, it's 18 inches, and it tells me that the largest circle here has a diameter of 8.2 inches. If the diameter is 8.2 inches, the radius is going to be 1/2 of that, or 4.1 inches. And so if I take 18 tall minus 4.1, I'm going to get 13.9 inches from the center point down to the bottom. That's going to be really helpful because what we're going to do today, as another thing we're going to look at, is how to use a line that I know I'm going to delete later, I know I'm going to erase it later, but how do I use a line just to set it in place so that I can start to locate new elements off of that endpoint. Okay, so we're using construction lines. Last thing I want you to notice is that we got a little bit of practice using the offset tool the other day and the fillet tool. Well, there's a fillet tool, there's a fillet here, and a fillet here, and so we're going to use the fillet tool again, and there's an offset line. This line is offset from this line, and this line is offset from this line. And so we can use the offset tool again and trim away the parts we don't want. So in this drawing here, we're thinking about strategy. We're thinking about, here's what we have to do that's new. Construction lines, mirroring, offset tool, more practice with it, fillet tool, more practice with it. And I think that's about it. We're going to do one other little weird thing in the very beginning just to make sure that we can set up our origin right at the very start. So when I'm looking at this, the first thing I'm going to do is actually make this little rectangle down at the bottom. I know that it is 12 wide and it is right here, it's 1 inch tall. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Go to my rectangle tool, rectangle, and I'm going to click here, and let me move this out of the way. All right, rectangle tool, I'm going to click it, and I'm going to, oh, I see what the problem is. I don't have dynamic input clicked. So I'm going to click my dynamic input. And so now when I click rectangle, do it one more time, people, you can see it says specify first quarter point. I want it to be, right now I'm just going to leave it up here. So I'm going to move it up here, and it asks me, whenever you make a rectangle, it asks you how wide you want it to be and how tall you want it to be. So I said I want it to be 12, so I'm going to type in 12, and then it's 1 tall, and then enter. So I made a rectangle that is exactly like this one, and it is 12 wide and 1 tall. I want my origin, though, I want my origin to be right at the center point of this rectangle because you're going to see, I'm going to try to set that up as a mirror line so everything on the left of that can be on the right. The way we do that is to change where our origin is. And so I had you guys watch a video earlier that was the user coordinate system video. So if I type in UCS for user coordinate system and click it, it now allows me to set the new origin wherever I want it to be. And so I want it to be the middle of this thing, upper left, top left. I want it to be on the very bottom because I know how big this shape is from the very bottom to the very top. So I'm going to click that as my where I want the origin to go, and then it just has me, what do you want the angle to be? I just want it to be flat, okay? So now by hit enter, I've established that now my origin is at the bottom of that shape. I'm now going to take, I'm going to make a center line basically, or not a center, a construction line that's going to go up from the bottom to that point right there, because I'm going to start to draw my circles, because I like to draw the circles first. So I'm going to hit line, go from here, and I'm going to go straight up, and I'm going to go up. What did we say? We said not 18, we said 13.1. 13.1, because it's 18 tall minus 4.1. All right, escape out of that. I now know that this is going to be the center point of 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, okay? And these are all circles that I know the diameter, the diameter, the diameter of, and I know the radius of this one is 5.7, so the diameter is going to be 2 times that radius, which is 11.4, but we'll come back to that in a second. So what kind of circle do I want to start off with drawing? I want to start, if I know the center point and the diameter, start with that one. I'll do the smallest one first, 3.6, another one, what is my dimension, 4.8, next one is going to be 8.2, and if I'm going to be, because they give us 5.7 as the radius over here, I'll just make one more, and we're going to say radius of 5.7, enter. All right, now I'm going to end up having to trim some of the circle away because the whole circle's not there. Just that bottom little arc right here is there, but that's all right. Okay, so let's see. Let's start to do, what do we want to do? We can, we know if I wanted to make a rectangle here that goes all the way across, all the way down to the bottom and up, down to this bottom corner point right here, that has got a height of 4 inches and again a width of 12. So I can make another rectangle that goes from here, and my width is 12, tab over, and then make it 4 high, and there it goes. Okay, so got that rectangle. We don't have this line right here. That line right here doesn't exist, right? But that's all right. Okay. Let's see. Let's start to now let's put these circles in here. So I'm gonna make the little circle and the slightly bigger circle. The slightly smaller circle has a diameter of 1.52. The bigger circle has a diameter of 2.4. This side doesn't tell us where that center point is, but this side does, right? It tells us that the center point is 2.5 inches up from the bottom line, and it is 2 inches over from the bottom line, from the right corner right here, okay? And when you do dimensions about where locations are, you want to do them from corners where it's at all possible. So I'm going to use another construction line, right? I know I'm going to delete these lines in a second, but that's all right, okay? So I'm going to click from this corner. I'm going to go, well, let's just, so it makes more sense. I'm going to click from here. I'm going to go over 2, and then I'm going to go up 2.5. Okay, I'm going to escape out of this. Now I know where the center point of that circle is. The same as this one right here. I'm going to make 2 circles, diameter 1.52 and diameter of 2.4. So I'm going to go to diameter center, and the first one I'm going to do is 1.52, and then I'm going to do another one of 2.4. Okay? All right, so I've made them on this side. Now we're going to use our mirror tool. The mirror tool is great if we have something that is on one part of our diagram and we want to make it look the same on the other side of the diagram, we can just flip it if we know how, like, where it's going to flip across. Well, in the very beginning, I drew this in the center of my shape, right? If I hadn't drawn it, I could draw it now. It's the center of my shape. So if I flip this to the exact mirror image over here, it's going to be in the right spot. All right? So let's do that. The mirror tool looks up here, looks like a pyramid where it's got one side that's black and one side that's blue. It's asking us, do you want to mirror it? So yeah, I want to mirror it. So I clicked it, and then it says select the object. So I'm just going to click on this, and then I have to hit enter. When I hit enter, it means that everything I just selected is going to be what I mirror. Okay? Then it asks me, all right, what's the first point of a mirror line? Well, I just have to pick 2 points on my line that I want to mirror it across, and that's going to be the mirror line that I use. One more thing, it asks me, do I want to erase the source objects? Yes or no. If I erase it, it's just going to basically move it to the other side. If I hit no, it means that it's not going to erase my original. It's just going to keep it where it is, but it's going to flip. It's going to make a copy of it over on the other side. So I'm going to hit no, and now you can see it's flipped it to the other side, exactly like we wanted it to do. All right. I'm going to escape out of the mirror tool because I'm done with that for now. All right. Let's see. We got a couple of things that I'm going to do here. I want to make this bottom line of this shape right here. It says it's 4.8 up from this line to that line. Now, to do this, I want to use the offset tool, right? I want to make it exactly equal to 4.8 from here, and I want it to be parallel to it. But I don't want to offset the entire shape. I just want to offset that line. And so one tool you can use, if you have like a shape like a rectangle and you want to break it into its individual 4 sides, like its lines that make it up, you can use something called the explode tool. So if I type down here, explode, you'll see it shows up. And I hit enter. It asks me, what do I want to explode? Well, I want to explode this rectangle, because that's going to mean instead of treating this as though it's one 4-sided object, it's going to treat it like it's 4 separate lines. Clicked it. Now I'm going to hit enter, and you can see now when I go over it, it's treating it as different lines. All right. I also want to explode this bigger rectangle right here. You'll see why in a second. And so let's explode that. Enter. Awesome. I want to explode this one because I want to delete the line because it doesn't exist right here. So if I click it now and click delete, that line's gone. Okay. Now we got rid of that line, and so now I'm going to try to make this bottom line right here. And so it's 4.8 offset from this line. Okay, so we learned how to use the offset tool. Offset is right here. Click on it. I want to offset, what's the distance I want to do? I want to do 4.8, enter. And now I'm going to click on the line I want to offset, move up a little bit, hit OK. What happened to it? What happened to my offset? 4.8 is my offset. 4.8. Click. Click again. All right. So now I have the line that's going to be right here. Okay. Let's see. I need to draw a line that now goes from here down to here. Okay. So it's going to go from here down until it intersects. It's going to go real far down. It's going to need to intersect with this line right here. A little weird. All right. Made a mistake. That's all right. So I probably should have waited to delete that top line. Okay. So I'm going to make another line right here just so I know how far it needs to go down. Okay. So I click that, do that. All right. I'm now going to make a line that goes, so I'm trying to draw this line here. Offset it over. So I go down from here. If this little, right, when I hover over this part of the circle, you can see it turns green. If it doesn't turn green for you, that means that if you go over here to the what do you want things to snap to, you're going to make sure that quadrant is clicked off or clicked on, and then it will make sure it snaps to it. Okay, So I go over here and I click on here and just go straight down until it lines up with that. Awesome. All right. So now I can make a fillet that goes from here to here. And I'm really starting to get close to finishing this drawing, even though it might not look like it yet. It says that the fillet between this down line and a line that was going this way is 1.6. And so if I click my fillet tool, I'm going to type in R for radius, 1.6. And it says, what do I want to fillet? I want to fillet this and this. Okay? Awesome. No. My goodness. Don't want to do that. Pick the wrong line. Picked the wrong line. Let's trim away stuff so that it's a little easier to see what I'm doing. I'm going to trim that away first so that it's a little easier to see. All right. I need to fill it between this line and that line. That looks right. So radius of 1.6. And I'm going to trim here and here. That looks correct to me. Okay. Now, let us offset. I want to create now this side of this box right here. So if I offset this to here, it's an offset of 1.6. So I say 1.6 offset, click here, that way, click again, escape out of that. And so now I have the two lines that I'm going to need, and you can see this shape right here is starting to look like half of this shape right here. All right. Let's do this. Let's mirror some of these lines to the other side, because at that point it's mostly just a matter of trimming stuff away. So I'm going to go back to my mirror tool. Ask me, what do I want to mirror? I want to mirror this line, this line, this line, and weirdly, if you look really tight in there, there's this little line right here that I need to do too. And that's cool. I want to mirror all of those things to the other side. So I'm going to hit those are the things I want to mirror. Hit enter to pick my mirror line. This is going to be my mirror line. And I click those things. Do I want to erase my source ones? No, and it's done. So now I got a bunch of stuff on here that it's about done, and I need to just start. I need to start deleting stuff, right? So I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim stuff I don't need anymore. If I trim this, that part's gone. Let's see. I want to get rid of that one. I want to get rid of that one. I want to get rid of this, 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 this. If I zoom in here, here, click this, click that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Sometimes it's a little tedious to get rid of all the stuff you want to get rid of. But, oh, one more. Boom. Boom. And now I got it. All right, everybody. Hope that was helpful. AutoCAD problem number 4. All right. Have a great day, everybody.